Yo, what is up? What is up, YouTube boxing family? It is I, K Rod here. I'm back with another great YouTube boxing chop session post fight weekend recap for Jojo Diaz versus William Zepeda. And we got Miss Katie Taylor versus Kara Bajal. And then we'll talk about obviously, well, I'm not going to talk about Jake Paul fight card, but I'll talk about Jake Paul in a different, segment, just in like a video. But either way, we got that, and then what else do we have? Um, oh yeah. We also had like the Lomachenko versus Jermaine Ortiz card, right? So yeah, we have like a lot of talent here. I'll probably go ahead and talk about some of the fights that were on the undercard for um, the Jermaine Ortiz and Lomachenko undercard. Yeah, so let's get right into that, and then, well, before I get to that, let me talk about Katie Taylor's performance. I wasn't really too satisfied with her performance. I think Katie Taylor is definitely on the decline as a fighter. Just simply because based off of what she's been doing lately, in her career, it seems like that she's going backwards. She's not going forwards. With testing herself with good leveled opposition. And I mean that's just me though. Just highly speculating on the situation. And I think that's a really respectable argument because with Katie Taylor as a fighter, I would expect her to have a little bit more clarity in the sport by going up against Amanda Serrano in a rematch. I think that would have been like the better weekend of boxing, not just her fighting some nobody that no one's ever heard of, and people just pretend as if like, oh well, she's fighting her mandatory. In which Katie Taylor, didn't she fight Amanda Serrano in a mandatory defense, or did she voluntarily defend her titles against Amanda Serrano? Because if that's really to be like the case, then Amanda Serrano was technically her title defense to begin with. So otherwise, like I think Katie Taylor is a duck. I think Katie Taylor, she doesn't want any more problems with like Amanda Serrano, and I think she's holding that victory to be a thing where she can like use that as leverage to hold her career. And I mean that's just me though. Like I just think Amanda Serrano, she has a lot of she has a lot more hunger than Katie, and I think Katie understands that having a win over Amanda Serrano means that she can call herself at the best, but I don't like I don't think it really means anything, for her other than that, like she's like afraid of actually running it back with her. Because if she was a real champion, I think her and Amanda Serrano should have been, the fight to make. That's just my honest opinion on how I see that, and I think that Katie should have just fought, you know, Amanda, on a stacked card. That would have been really very interesting to do. But I think Katie has proven that she is no longer the greatest fighter because I don't know too much about her like opponent. I haven't seen too much tape on her, but she looked very how should I say, she looked very relaxed in there. She looked like she wasn't really wanting to win, and she looked like one of those fighters where she really comes out to just be like, I don't know, just basically like a woman that's coming in to just get her check. She had the youth over Katie. She was 32 years old, and honestly, she should have watched her. I was thinking that her being younger, she would have all these advantages to actually beat Katie. She was like the longer fighter. She had like a way better jab than Katie. Her jab was very good early, but I think what ended up happening was that she just gave up. She just didn't have any plan B, and she just basically just acted like nothing was happening in the event of her wanting to win, and I don't think she was hungry enough to be that winner. So either way, I think it's pretty disrespectful for women's boxing to be seeing lackluster performances. But on top of that, I'm just never really like a fan of these, 2 minute rounds either, because I think that's like the bigger issue. Katie, Katie's comfortable going 2 minute rounds, while when we see good heavy loaded matchups of women that should very well get knocked out in the pros, in a 3 minute level, they like I would say that the mass majority of women that box will agree to say that 2 minute rounds does not help you get better in boxing. But it's like women train for 3 minutes. Like women should not be comfortable fighting for 2 minute rounds because number one, it doesn't entice up the fans enough to make them say, "Oh wow, this girl's really that good," or like this lady can knock out this girl if she had like more time. But it's like people don't understand like what the ramifications of going through that for like for women's boxing. And I think it's just really stupid because it's just like people people really think that women don't need to fight 3 minute rounds because it's like people are content with like what women go through. But I don't think so. I think like to me, I find it really boring. I find it very, upsetting that for women like Amanda Serrano, she should have the ability to knock out Katie Taylor in a 3 minute fight. I don't think Katie Taylor does good in 3 minute in 3 minute battles because it even shows in a 2 minute war that she gets into. She gets heavily exhausted in her fights, and she's never coming in to actually be prepared for a tougher battle. So it's not like she's really going out there really taking like a lot of heavy blows. It's just that when she's in a actual fight, she's never prepared for that war to really kick in. So when you look at the situation at hand, Katie has been comfortable fighting at 2 minute, fighting 2 minute, you know, battles in boxing or 2 minute fights that makes her comfortable to the point where she doesn't need to put in as much work, and she's already expecting the judges to be, in her favor to do like the things that she wants to do. And I think that's why she's able to get away with these type of weird gifted decisions in which, I mean, don't get it twisted, like there are fights where she dominates her like opponents, but it's like you have to look at it from like a layman's perspective. Like she's getting these type of fights that are basically leveled in her favor because she doesn't want to fight tougher opposition at higher weight classes. So there's a reason why she's keeping herself hostage at 135, kicking it at like what 36 years old or 37 or about to be 37. But it's just like Katie has shown for women's boxing that she's not doing anything good for the sport. I mean, I could go on for days to say like why she should very well move up in weight, but it's like you should very well understand there's nothing that she could do for boxing that would make women's boxing any better because she's not making the sport any better. She's actually pissing off the sport to to a all time low. And I mean that's just how I see it because I think Katie Taylor she's very content with what she's doing. I could very well be wrong. I think Katie Taylor, she has like a much better ceiling to fight at 140 and 147 for undisputed titles. But it's like she's not willing to do that. And I mean, there's been multiple women that wanted to fight her, and Katie Taylor never wanted to make any mention of them to fight them. Definitely like women like Chantel Cameron, Jessica McCaskill that wanted to get a rematch. I just think based off of how things have just been structured. There's just too much there's too many questions unanswered of like why she's going the way that she's doing because she obviously shows that she's not confident in her abilities to fight the best opposition. So that's really like my biggest issue with her. She's obviously showing that she is not confident of who she is as a fighter to go above and beyond her skill sets to see where she's at. But it's like she's very, very content because Eddie Hearn is basically milking her out until she's basically done. Is she getting, like the same amount of money that she did with like Amanda Serrano? No. She's probably, content getting paid chump change because I'm pretty sure she's making no more than I would probably say maybe 300,000 or maybe $200,000 at least. But it's like, with all those sanctioning fees and all those promotional fees that she has to pay out to Eddie Hearn, do you really think that she's making all this crazy like amount of money in boxing right now? No, she's not. Like, I mean, people say that she's making at least like what, maybe like a million, but I don't think so. I don't think she's really touching that type of money because if she was, she would very well end up retiring by now. But I think it's now coming to like a point where she's basically able to do what she needs to do right now, and she's basically just robbing of the bank because she's able to do it because she just wants to get away with what she can do now in boxing, if that makes sense. But I think Katie, she would have like a much better career if she just moved up in weight and she just fought, all the best fights to make. So now with this victory, like, what does this do for her career? It's just basically her to get her to get a easy money grab with the fights that she does take. But it's like for her to keep the belts hostage at 135, I think it's just like a bad look on her. But on top of that, for her to not move forward with fighting Amanda Serrano immediately in a rematch, especially in the UK, I think that's just very disrespectful on her end because she knows that she's not that good. She knows that Amanda Serrano is a very difficult style matchup, and I don't think that she's confident in what she believes herself to be as a you know quote unquote female pound for pound fighter. I don't think she's pound for pound worth of shit. I think Katie Taylor, she's way past her prime. She's definitely not getting any better, and I think it's only going to show when somebody comes in there to knock her out with bad intentions. Does she have skills? Yeah, she has skills, but when you scale it at the highest, maximum, I don't see Katie Taylor doing anything spectacular. She's basically equivalent to Vasil Lomachenko, but she gets worse every time when she fights because she's fighting to the level of her competition. Granted, with like Amanda Serrano's case, like I even sometimes criticize her of why isn't she taking risks to go after women at bigger weights? But she's a naturally smaller fighter to begin with, versus with Katie, she's a naturally bigger fighter, and for her to get beat up by Amanda Serrano the way she did on my birthday at the Madison Square Garden. um I just find it insane that people really do think that she's not, never needed to ever move up in weight and actually challenge the bigger fish that are in other divisions. But when it comes to, to her division exclusively, she's okay at staying in her division and just making all these worthless effing title defenses that don't mean shit. Because it's like you've already cleaned everybody out. Like, what else is there to fucking prove if you're undisputed and you've had over like what? Like, I'll take a look at her box rec right now, but she's probably had over like what, 8, 9 title like a title defenses. But it's like that's not helping you financially as a fighter. But when we look at how you move and how you run as a fighter, like you're obviously showing that you're not that good of a fucking fighter. But yeah, she's 36 years old. I think she's about to be 37. But let's take a look at all the titles that she's had. She won the WBA lightweight title against Anais Sanchez. That was in a 10 round decision. Um, she she beat her, and then after that, she decided to go ahead and fight Jessica McCaskill in her very first first title defense, and then she beat Victoria Bustos when she unified the title for her IBF belt, and then after that she fought Kimberly Connor. She wasn't that good of a fighter herself. She was really not that good, and she got smoked in 3 rounds. She's okay, but she was really never let the best out there. But yeah, she beat her up. She beat up Cindy Serrano, and she beat Eva Wallstrom. These are all title defenses, by the way, when she was unified. And then after that, she unified with Rosa Valente for the WBO championship, and then she beat Delphine Persoon for undisputed back in 2019. And then after that, she moved up in weight to become a super lightweight champion against Christina Lina Darto, in which she had a tough time beating her, but she definitely, got the job done, which I gave her credit for that. And then you go right back down to lightweight to face Delphine Persoon, which she should have arguably lost both of these fights. The first fight was extremely close, and the second fight was like a toss up, but still, like, she showed a lot more holes in the first fight compared to the second fight. But I think both of those fights she should have taken L's. Um, the Miriam Gutierrez fight, she did a very great job. Um, and then she fought Natasha Jonas, which I truly believe that Natasha Jonas defeated her. I didn't see her really winning that many rounds. Natasha showed way more separation than Katie did. But after that, she basically had that one fight with Amanda Serrano, which I thought she won. She beat Katie Taylor, but after that, that's pretty much it. I mean, she defended her undisputed crowns, one, two, three, four, five, six, and seven, and eight. So she defended her title 8 times, and she never decided to ever move up in weight and try to become a two-division undisputed world champion. But here's my suggestion. I'm pretty sure if anybody from her camp is watching, if you want to consider yourself to be the best fighter, how about you go after, you know, well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get people pissed off, but well, like, why not go after Clarissa Shields? Like, if you're the ultimate badass, just beating up on women that never really had too much clarity, in boxing to begin with anyway, go after a woman like, Clarissa Shields. At least, like, that's like a way better, achievement to move up, like, at least, 3 weight divisions technically, to go beat her. Like, why not? Or actually, no, she would have to move up 4 weight classes, but still, like, like if I was in Katie Taylor's shoes, I think what should end up happening is that she could come in at 155 or 150, and then Clarissa, she could fight her, at a catch weight, hopefully, because it's at 160, but you could have it set at like the lowest weight possible, where it's at like 155 or 152. I don't know, but I mean, even though, like, it has to be like above like the super welterweight limit, but it's like Katie is already like a big woman to begin with, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but in my own views of like how I would manage like that fight, I would say, Katie, you could come in at 150 or 155 on the dot, but Clarissa, she would have to cut down to at least like 155 at least, and if she wants to come in at 160, um I mean, both of them are going to basically rehydrate really big, so it's not like Clarissa's going to have any advantage over Katie. Yeah, she's going to be taller and way faster than Katie, but it's like Katie knows like damn well that Clarissa has way better, agile, physical attributes compared to Katie. But it's like that's a really good fight because it's like either way, Katie will come into the fight heavy, and she's not going to be as quick on her feet compared to what she does now at lightweight. But if I'm in that position, why not have them meet each other at a catch weight? And I think that's what, I think that's what should happen. I think this is the best fight to be made for women's boxing. because even if even if like Amanda Serrano, if she continues to get more wins, and let's just say if she beats who's that one chick? If she beats Erica Cruz for undisputed, then what will probably end up happening is that she wants to probably go after Katie Taylor, try to get that rematch, beat her up, or potentially beat her. And then if she beats Katie, then what will end up happening is that I think she should face the winner between Alicia Baumgardner and Queen Mi Choi. So I think that's a very good marketability strategy that Amanda could definitely take advantage of, because it's not like she's really losing, at all, because it's like she's gonna get really rich off of those fights because she's now a very big draw. So either way, I think that's what should end up happening. Some other idiots would say, Amanda Serrano would she should end up fighting Clarissa Shields, but here's what the thing: like Amanda Serrano's not a very big person. No disrespect to the queen, but either way, her and Clarissa are friends. But on top of that, she's not gonna bloat herself all the way up to middleweight to go fight Clarissa, which I don't see that fight making any sense, because what will they ever do for each other than just have Amanda come in super heavy, and she's really not that big of a person. You're basically saying for her to pack up all that weight to go all the way up to middleweight and then come back down to whatever weight that she's able to go back down to. And I don't think that's a good idea, because number one, Clarissa and Amanda, yes, they will make money, but here's what the problem: Clarissa and Amanda, they don't gain anything out of it other than, okay, they're gonna go at it, but then after that, it's it's gonna end up being a fight where Clarissa's gonna end up winning the exchanges, because she is a much bigger. She's not like a bigger puncher, but she has more kick in her shots, where she's able to push back Amanda with her punches, and knowing that Amanda, she's a very destructive southpaw, in which Clarissa, she's probably heavily trained on managing southpaws, but still having Amanda Serrano fight someone that's going to come in way bigger than her on fight night, because Clarissa, she's going to rehydrate to at least, like, I probably say 175 or 180, but it's like people really think that's a good fight, and it's like that's not a good fight. You have to think about the sacrifices that you have to make weight cut wise leading up to the fight, because if you can't rehydrate that well to a big size where both fighters are able to take enough punishment and actually do the things that they want to do naturally of their skill set, then it doesn't really help nobody, because Clarissa, she's gonna come in big, like she's on some Shaquille O'Neal business. No disrespect, but still, it's like that fight doesn't make any damn sense. But um, I guess as far as like other options for Amanda, like some people would say like fight Jessica McCaskill. I think that's a good fight, but the problem with that is that Jessica, she's a borderline, welterweight, super welterweight fighter. So she's a very big woman herself, or she has like a lot more size over Amanda. And Amanda, she did fight at 140 at one point, and she was champion at that time frame. But still, it's just like I don't see like her really scaling that well into that weight cut. I'm not saying that's not a good fight, and I'm for her ducking. Jessica. It's not like she's like I don't think a man is afraid of anyone. But the thing is that you have to think about the weight discrepancy of what fighters will go through after, like before and after their weight cuts leading up to the fight night. And even with like Clarissa and Amanda, like, I'm not using the excuse to say like, oh, they're friends, they can't fight. Like, no, like friends can fight each other if they want to. But the issue is that you have to think about the sacrifices that you would do between you and your friend if you guys are in two different avenues, and y'all are never going to see each other in the ring. So that's pretty much how I see it. Amanda, she's better conquering lower weight classes, and I think from 126 all the way up to 135 is her weight. Definitely not 140 and above. I think there's just too much weight discrepancy with the women that try to rehydrate so much at those weight classes, because even with like women like Chantel Cameron, Jessica McCaskill, Sandy Ryan, all those chicks, I think most of them just blowed up to become like middleweights and shit. We already saw it with like Miriam Gutierrez, like when she fought Amanda, like Amanda was like pushing her back and she was crushing her, but still, like Gutierrez came in at like what? She came in at like 160 something, so she basically fought like a middleweight slash super middleweight, with all that weight and all that pressure onto her. Like Amanda, she only rehydrated to like think like think like 138 or 140. Like I mean, the fight was at lightweight, but still, like she didn't even rehydrate that much. I'm pretty sure she probably lost more weight rather than gaining weight. But you could easily see Amanda being like a very small lady, and Miriam, she was coming in like, like the Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's just the cold hard truth. It's just that you can't make a woman try to go up 3 4 weight classes higher, or at least like a weight class or two higher, because the weight discrepancy is going to kick in. But as far as that goes with the Katie Taylor card, I wasn't impressed, man. The undercard, was trash. I mean, credit to Kiko Martinez stopping Jordan Gill. He was a garbage ass fighter to begin with, anyway. And I don't see Jordan Gill doing anything right for his career. But that was just not a good fight, and that was just a horrible style matchup. So either way, I think how everything will go for Kigo's career, even though he's on the final days of his career. I think he should very well just go ahead and just keep on winning. Good for you. Keep doing your thing, and rock on, old man. I'm not too high up on Spaniard fighters. Not trying to be rude. I just don't think Spaniard fighters are really that good for what they say that they are, and not a lot of them get a lot of experience in their career. So I think that's the biggest problem with them. But with Kiko's case, he is he is a former world champion, so I will give him his credit as a fighter. He is skilled. He has a lot of great attributes as a fighter. I think the biggest problem with him is that he's extremely flat-footed and he doesn't have the like ability to do the things that he wants to do as a fighter. So that's pretty much like the biggest problem that I have, for him. I think, like, when you look at, the size differential that he has with his opponents, he is a pretty heavy featherweight fighter. He should be fighting at bigger weights, but either way, I just think where he's at right now, there's just a lot more climbing that he had to go through to be somewhat successful, because Kiko he has a stacked resume. He obviously got stopped by what Gary Russell, but after that he's been getting high quality victories. I think he's definitely a very good dark horse in the division. He obviously got stopped in 5 out of his 11 defeats. He got stopped by Warrington. He got stopped by Gary Russell, and then he got stopped by Leo Santa Cruz, which that was very surprising. Leo Santa Cruz beat the living crap out of him, and then Scott Quigg. Yep, I remember that he got washed in that fight. But yeah, Kiko has a great resume. He's a 2 division world champion. He won a belt at super bantamweight through the IBF, and then obviously he got defeated at featherweight a couple times for world title shots. But he is a champion in two divisions. He got the IBF title through the featherweight division, when he beat Kid Galahad, and then you know he then beat I forgot who he beat for the super bantamweight title. Oh, he beat Jeffrey Mathubala. Yep. Oh wait, actually no. He knocked out Jonathan Romero, who was undefeated at the time. But yeah, that was a good, decent fight. Uh, Not really the best fighter out there, but he was okay. But either way, Kiko has a good resume. He's not a bum, but he's borderline gatekeeper. I just think like where he's at right now, he's in a good spot. I don't know how much longer he's planning on staying in the division, but I won't be surprised if they put him in there. Anybody from any other promotional company, like I'd probably say maybe like oh oh man, I'm sorry. I think a guy like Ruben Villa would be a very good fight. Um, I think he would get stopped by Mauricio Lara. I would definitely keep Lara away from Kiko Martinez. But hey, if Kiko's willing to take on like the dangerous fighter and Lara, by all means, go for it. I'm down for like a Michael Conlon fight. That's a great ass fight, by the way. A lot of people, probably think it's not, but I think it is. Um, so I'm definitely looking forward for a fight like that. Kiko can face Joette Gonzalez. I think that's a perfect style matchup, for both of them. He could also face a guy like Lee Wood. He said he wants Lee Wood. He's not that much younger than Kiko. He's only 34, so it's like he got the WBA regular title. So yeah, go after that guy. I think that's a great style matchup. Simply due to the fact that both fighters got power, but they definitely lack a lot of you know they lack a lot of defense. So that would be a fight that's very how should I say, it's going to be like a 50-50 matchup. So either way, I think Kiko, he's definitely on his last legs in the division, but he's just going to keep racking up more victories. So it's going to be interesting to see where he's at for the rest of his career. But yeah, let's move forward with the rest of the card. Um, I'll go with the Diaz and Zapata card. Um, I only have like a couple fights that I'm going to talk about here. Um, let's talk about the men's fight between Hector Valdez and Max Ornelas. I thought Valdez could have lost this fight. I'm only saying that because I think Valdez, he's a little bit too overhyped with what he is going through, but I think he's being matched up extremely tough to a to a great position. But the problem that I have with Valdez is that he's not showing any separation in skill set to make me think he's going to be coming in here and just dominating everybody. Um, as far as where he wants to be, um, in the division, I think where things will go for his career when he wants the title or when he does get the title opportunity is that he's probably going to get matched up with a guy like Aaron Almeida. I think he's a very dangerous test. He's a good ass southpaw. He has a decent power, but that's a very good fight. I think another good fight would be against I probably say I probably say Aza Hovhannissian. I think Hovhannissian has proven himself to be a very great fighter. He's lost to basically world championship level fighters. Well, he only lost to like one world champion and or former world champion or current world champion and Ray Vargas. So Hovhannissian is a very great talent. So I think that's the perfect fight for Valdez to go after, especially when you want to go after opposition that's fought for like a world title, and you could prove to let the world that you're here, with up the top 25s or top 10s. So yeah, go after like a top 10 or a top 15 guy. Another great fight would be definitely Takuma Inoue. I don't know if this is Naoya Inoue's brother. I think it is, but oh yeah, yeah. I think this is Inoue's brother, but yeah, go after him. Beat his ass up. Go after him. He's gonna have like a 10 rounder against some guy named Jake Bornea. But yeah, go after Inoue. Beat him up. That's a good fight. Um, Another good fight for his career would be oh man, there's a lot of like I don't know too much of these guys, but like a lot of the tough opposition is like some Americans and then maybe a couple Filipinos and then some Japanese dudes. But another great fight that he should go after is Carlos Castro, and here's why. If he could beat Carlos Castro, then what's going to end up happening is that Rais Alim, he's probably going to be set up to face another title eliminator, which I don't know who it would be, but I think it's going to be Luis Neri. And my whole take on that is that Luis Neri, he's already in position to get his WBC title shot soon. But knowing that he had like a third round TKO victory over David Carmona, I think what's going to happen is that PBC is going to call him up, and then he's going to be set up to face against Rais Alim. And if Alim, if he gets past Neri, which I think he would, I think what's going to happen is that Neri, he's going to lose, and he's probably going to probably end up facing probably a guy like Hector Valdez, because if he says, hey, look, I want to go after all the top opposition, give me a guy like Luis Neri, I think that's the perfect opponent for Hector Valdez, because his style favors his style favors Luis Neri's style. But if Hector is able to land those good punches on Neri, where he ended up falling to the body by Brandon Figueroa's pressure to the body, I think Valdez can barely edge out the victory. But that's going to be a very very difficult fight. So I don't think that fight is ever going to be anywhere different of like where we're going to see the fight going going in a different direction. But another good fight that I would like to see is Elijah Pierce. He's a very very good fighter himself, and he's gonna go up against some old ass veteran that I don't know who his name is. His name is Herman Ivan Miraz, but yeah, he's had over like 133 fights. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what super bantamweight's going to be. But I think Elijah Pierce would be the perfect opponent for Hector Valdez. He's a southpaw, so I think that's a great southpaw for good southpaw experience. And Valdez, he's a dog. He has a lot of power. He knows how to set up his shots correctly. But the problem that I'm having with him is that he has a defensive ring IQ issue, and if he gets hit by some heavy loaded punchers, um, I think that's going to be the biggest problem out of what I'm seeing with his career. But I think sooner than later he's going to have to get it together. It's not like he's trash. I think he has skills, but we have to see him in there with all the top level oppositional names. But Hector Valdez, he has a lot of time. I think it's time to just, definitely give him these tougher fights now, and then just keep on moving forward. So shout out to Hector Valdez, keep getting better, and hopefully we can see better progression heading into a world title. But he's definitely on the high horse right now to going into the right direction. Um, but on top of that, let's talk about the women's fight between Areli Muncino versus Leonila Utica. This was a very tough fight to call, but if this was like a 12 round, 3 minute fight, I think Utica would have had the edge to beat her. But yeah, this is a very difficult fight. I think the problem with this fight was that this was not a 3 minute fight for me to see who was the better fighter. Because Aurelia Musino, like I love her a lot. She's a very very great fighter. Much love and respect to her. She's she's a goat. She's definitely one of the best Mexican female fighters out there. But she's definitely in the monikers of being a heavy loaded veteran. She was obviously heavily known of getting knocked out by Ava Knight back in the day, where she stopped her in 2 rounds for the IBF flyweight title. But yeah, after that, she basically moved forward with her career, and she actually had a split decision loss with Mariana Juarez in the past, which I actually thought Musino could have won this fight. In which Juarez she was giving Musino like one of the like she was giving Musino a absolute war, but I thought Musino actually came back really good in this fight despite the knockdown in round 2. But I actually thought she arguably beat Mariana. I didn't think Mariana had the advantages over her. I think Musino did enough to win. But again, if these female championship fights were 12 round 3 minute fights, I think more women would break down more in their fights where you wouldn't be seeing a lot of progression out of them late game, and all these punches that they're throwing would not be thrown right away. I think more women would be more mindful of being careful with like what they throw in a fight. But either way, Musina she's heavily loaded. She was a former world champion at flyweight. Um, she was supposed to become unified at one point, or she was supposed to fight for. Well, she was supposed to have her opportunity to potentially be unified when she fought Susie Kentikian or Kenetikian, Kententian or yeah Kentikian. She was like one of the you know highly touted German Armenian based female fighters out of Germany, right? She had the WIBA or WIBF title. Yep, she had the IBF championship at flyweight. She had the WBA, and she had the WBO. So what ended up happening was that she had a headbutt injury that ended the fight early in round 3. That ended up becoming like a no contest. So after that, that basically just ended up being a bad fight. From the beginning, that should have been put into her victory. I think if that fight had continued, or if there wasn't no headbutt to begin with, I think Areli Muncino would have probably had been unified, and shit. Honestly, I think at that point that would have opened up let the door for her to become potentially undisputed within less than 10 fights, because literally she was like 8-0 or 9-0 at that time, and she barely had any experience at a world title level, but she did her thing. She had the ability to make fights competitive, and she took risk. So that was a very good move by her. Very very good fighter, and she did her thing, man. Much love and respect to her. But ever since then, she won the IBF, flyweight title after that fight with Susie Kentikian. She beat Chantel Cordova, who was pretty decent at her time. She didn't have too much of like a career. She obviously lost to Areli. She ended up stopping her, but after that, her career wasn't really doing much. But yeah, she was okay. But after that, she won the IBF belt. She defended it like what, like 3 4 times. Yeah, she defended it like 3 times, and then she ended up losing to Ava Knight in 2, and then she decided to pick up the WBA interim flyweight title, in a very close split decision victory against Melissa McMorrow, in which that gave her the mandatory title title opportunity against Maria Juarez, in which I thought she won that fight, but she still lost. But then after that, she then decided to keep on going, and she moved down to like I think like 108 at one point. But yeah, either way, she had that very close split draw with Jessica Chavez. She's a beast herself, but that was a great fight. But then after that, she decided to go up and down in weight, and then she lost to Jessica Chavez again for the flyweight title for the WBC. And she actually did beat Shindo Go. That's that Japanese lady that fought in the past. But yeah, she beat her in 2014 as of December 6th of that year. So she won the WBC flyweight championship against her, and then she lost to Jessica Chavez in a rematch. And then after that, she then decided to just keep on getting good victories, and then after that, she won the WBO title back in 2018 against Montserrat Alacran. She beat her, and then she defended it against Maria Salinas, and then she beat Yaronef Altuve. And then after that, I don't know what happened. I think she took a 2 year layoff, in which I think it was probably due to injury because she did say that she was injured, or I think COVID happened, and then she wasn't able to do what she wanted to do. She obviously had that Puerto Rican, venue fight on the Amanda Serrano, Daniela Bermudez card. She fought that Lucia Hernandez lady, and she did a good job against her. She beat her, and yeah, she's just kicking ass. I wasn't like a fan of her facing a 7-7-10 Mexican female fighter, but I think that was just more of like a stay busy fight. But either way, like it should have been some veteran level fighter that should have been in there with her. And then with Jackie Caldwell, I actually thought she lost this fight because she got dropped in the ninth round. And I think, like, honestly, if that was like a 3 minute fight, I think she could have been stopped in this fight. But Jackie, she's a beast. She hasn't had like the greatest career, um, like prior to that loss, but well, prior to any of her losses, I mean, her most notable fight that she ended up losing was against Mariana's sister, which I actually thought she won that fight on top of the Susie Candy Sandoval fight too, because it's like Sandoval, she's not that good of a fighter, but she's like basically the journeyman Salido of women's boxing, which I don't want to say that because Orlando Salido, at least he was a world champion, but he wasn't like no world beater. But either way, she lost to a low level journeyman, which I thought she won that fight. Same thing against with Lourdes Suarez and Yesicina Gomez, which these are very difficult fights to call because I actually thought I literally thought in all four of these fights, her record would be like a lot better. Like she wouldn't be having like seven losses, and then despite that knockout loss to Edna Maltos, which I um, I was very um, I was very surprised that she lost to a woman like her, but even though I don't know what was like the whole deal with that fight, but I'm gonna take a look at it one day. But yeah, I'm just surprised, like Jackie, she's a very very good fighter. Don't get it twisted. Like she's had very very great careers, or she had very great career defining fights. But I think what the problem was that she wasn't able to get the opportunities that she wanted and get the results that she wanted. So that's pretty much like my biggest issue of like how she was treated as a fighter. Because if she had beat Lourdes Suarez and she beat Yesicina Gomez, I think what would ended up happening is that she would have scaled a lot higher in her career, and I think it would have been like a very good resume to have with all these like losses that should have been victories. Like I think Musino, loss should have been a victory. With that knockdown, because a lot of those rounds that were close could have been her rounds to win. And I think even in a 3 minute fight, if you were to determine that out of a 10 rounder, she would be the victor out of most of those rounds. But either way, I would definitely score that to be like a 6-4, like close split decision victory. But that's just how I would see it. But yeah, either way, there's just like Aurelia Muncino's resume is heavily stacked. She's definitely in there with all the good good level opposition. As far as this fight with Utica, this was a very tough fight to call. She had that bad cut or that bad swollen eye that was caused by a headbutt in round two. So that was a really bad bump that she had on her eye that definitely caused her to not perform as good in the fight. So I don't know. Like I think either way, Aurelia, she's a good fighter. She just got to work more on defense and just be careful. That's all, because she does get hit a lot, and I definitely love watching her fight. But her defense would definitely scale a lot better if she improved it more. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where she's at, because she's been at flyweight basically her whole entire career. So now, do we get to see her unify with the rest of the champions? Which we got Marlon Esparza. We now have her, and then don't forget we got Kenya Enriquez. She had I want to say she beat her opponent Nora Cardosa. So not too sure how that fight went down, but hopefully we get to see Kenya in the ring with any of those girls, because I think she's a very skilled fighter, and I got to give the queen her, her credibility. So much respect to Kenya. I hope everything is getting better with her. But the other champions in the division, we got Gabrielle Celeste Alanes. She is the IBF flyweight, or no, WBO flyweight world champion. And then for the WBC and the WBA, I think that's Marlon Esparza. That is a unified champion, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she is. So there's two more ladies on that list for Marlon if she wants to go for undisputed. And I think it would be best for Marlon to go after either of those girls. Gabriela Celeste Alanis, she's a very decent boxer puncher. Um, she's not too much of a big puncher, but she definitely knows how to hit when she sees you at the right position to take you down. So maybe if Marlon, if she wants to take that tough fight out of the way, I think her and Aurelia Muncino should unify first, and then the winner should go after Marlon, or Marlon should go after either one of those ladies, and then the last lady, out of that mix should just wait for the winner. So yeah, that's pretty much it with that. It's not bad, but it's just that it's just like a food for thought. That's basically what I'm implying. But let's talk about the main event, and we'll move forward with the Lomachenko card. Oh, and then I'll talk about like the Jake Paul card. That's a card that I wanted to touch base on a little bit. I don't have too much to say on every single fight. I'm not going to talk about the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight. That was a very okay fight, but Jake Paul shouldn't have been in there with Anderson Silva. That was a very boring fight, to say the least. I mean, Anderson Silva, like I respect him, a lot, and I'm never going to disrespect him as a fighter. But I will credit like I will never give respect to Jake Paul fighting Anderson Silva for the sake of the fact that Anderson Silva did not deserve to be in the ring with Jake. And if it was like him versus like I don't know, let's just say some other old veteran that was in the ring with him, then I would definitely respect that. But Jake Paul getting a win over Silva did not do anything better for his career, and he didn't look any better. But that's very much like my whole take on that. Um, Also, shout out to Shadeja Green defeating Ogledes Suarez. I think Suarez was just not in the right mindset. I think this fight, knowing that it was at like what, like 175 if I'm not mistaken, but these ladies were like super huge coming in at like what, heavyweight. Like that's like the heavyweight limit for females for heavyweight boxing. But either way, Suarez is a very good fighter. She was, I believe, a world champion at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she won the WBA featherweight title against Liliana Palmera, and then she lost to Edith Soledad Matiste. I think she's a half sister, or um, I want to say she's sisters with Lucas Matisse, but if anybody knows more information on that, let me know. But yeah, Matisse, very great fighter. Obviously, not at her best anymore because she was a fighter past her prime now. She obviously lost to Alicia Baumgardner, which she came in overweight in that fight. But either way, she's definitely past her prime, and she definitely needs to hang it up. I love Matisse, but I can't see her fight no more. But yeah, same thing with Ogledes for her. She's way past her prime. She looked like she was taking too much punishment, and something wasn't right coming in to the fifth round. So either way, good victory for Shadeja Green. Just keep on getting more, getting more experience. I like to see her in there with Franchon Cruz. I think that's a very good fight to have. I think her and Franchon Cruz would make a very good style matchup. And if she could beat Franchon Cruz, that's a very great win, simply due to the fact that you have a lot more eyes on you if you actually beat her. And then on top of that, you could probably go ahead and maybe face Clarissa Shields, which I think that's a very, very good fight, especially if Clarissa, if she wants to get it going with with a bona fide boxer puncher like Shadeja Green. So maybe if anybody from her team is watching, maybe consider those fights. I'm pretty sure she got her eyes on either one of them. So yeah, go for it. Keep getting better. Shadeja Green, she definitely shined with a great performance, and definitely, I'm definitely liking that PBC is now in competition with women's boxing. Being on their platform, and I think what PBC or Showtime needs to do, they need to start putting women on an undercard because women can sell if you put it on a good card. If you put women on a really bad card where nobody's not going to really watch it, then I think that's what's not helping women's boxing grow, and I think it's a really bad move or bad decision making for women's boxing to, go backwards instead of, actually going forward. All right, so let's move forward with the main event. The co-main event, I wasn't too interested in. Alexis Roca versus Jesus Antonio Perez. This fight was absolute garbage. Roca, he's an okay fighter, man, but he's gonna get knocked out in the welterweight division. Roca is way too limited. I think he has a way better scaling than Virgil Ortiz. Don't get it twisted. He's a very deadly southpaw, and I'm not counting out his power. But after the knockout of Blair Cobbs, you basically ended up going two 10 round decisions against two lesser known fighters. And, like, no disrespect to Roca because I'm pretty sure he wants all the smoke at welterweight. But these are basically fights that you had against guys that are not doing anything good for the division. So I think what Roca needs to do, he needs to start being more vocal of fighting a guy like Amantas Stanionis. Definitely go after Connor Ben because Connor Ben, he's probably going to end up coming over here to the states because he had his UK boxing license, taken away. Well, he basically gave it up. The British Board of Boxing Control did not actually force him to give it up. But either way, I think what's going to end up happening for Ben, he's he's basically just going to have to come over here to the states to finish up his career or to continue his boxing career. So I think that's going to be like the fight that I'm probably going to end up seeing, or that should be the fight that should happen because Conor Benn is a top 10 welterweight. But yeah, him and Roca, that's a very very good fight. Or what Alexis Roca could do, he should face a guy like Radzab Butayev. Butayev is a very very great opponent, very hard, destructive puncher, inside pressure fighting, Soviet style Russian fighter. That's a very very destructive matchup for Alexis Roca, and I think that will bring the best out of him of what he could do as a fighter. Or if he wants, he could fight Eimantas Stanionis. Stanionis is a very destructive fighter. Come forward, Soviet style, Eastern European fighting style. Very, very destructive, has a lot of power in both hands, and he knows how to break you down and rip your soul, in a fight. So that's a very good fight to have. I'm not too sure about Jaron Ennis. I think Jaron Ennis will cook Alexis Roca. I think he would absolutely just dog walk him and destroy him because he has a very destructive shot from a southpaw position. And Boots, he has high ring IQ, and I don't see Roca keeping up with a guy like Boots. Your Dennis Ugas is a very good fight. I think Ugas, if he's looking for like a tune-up or a skill, level fight, I think Roca would be the best opponent for your Dennis Ugas. But those are my little takes on those potential matchups. Oh, also, definitely run it back with Rashidi Ellis. I think if he really wants to like prove he's good, at least have like a rematch with him. At least get a couple more good high quality victories, and then have a rematch. Back at it with him. I think he would beat the living crap out of him, but still, Rashidi Ellis, he's been out of the ring for what, damn near 3 months now. He needs to get his career back on track. I don't know what he's doing right now, but I'm pretty sure he's probably going to get back into the ring soon. I would like to see him back in the ring right now, but I'm pretty sure he's working something out. Like I think he's going to get his fight date soon, and then we're going to be shocked of who he's actually going to be fighting. If he fights Jaron Ennis and out of nowhere he just ends up doing some crazy stuff where he says, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna knock out Boots. I'm gonna beat him up. He ain't gonna beat me." Then I'm gonna be looking at Rashidi funny. But either way, I think Rashidi Ellis is, he's a good ass fighter, man. But I think where he should end up going in the terms of the PBC route, he should face a guy like Cody Crowley. I think Cody Crowley is like the perfect opponent to just beat his ass and just move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Cody Crowley is that great opponent for him. But yeah, we'll find out, man. The welterweight division is on fire, and people may say it's not the deepest division of boxing. No, it is. People don't want to be honest about the welterweight division. The welterweight division is one of the most destructive divisions in boxing, and not a lot of people want to be honest about that because not a lot of welterweights are mixing it up right now because they're trying to use up the politics to carefully move their careers. But eventually, you're going to see a lot more losses when you see these guys, mix it up more. But yeah, that's my thoughts about Alexis Roca's performance. It was a good 7.5 out of 10 performance. He did a good job, but he just needs to continue getting better. Um, but yeah, let's move forward with the main event. William Zapata versus Jojo Diaz. I thought Jojo Diaz could have done more to win this fight, but it seems like either he doesn't have it anymore or he just didn't do what he was supposed to do in the fight. Um, I think Zapata, he's a great fighter. He just needs to keep on progressing more as a fighter. I think where he's at now at lightweight, he fights very, very limited. He fights as if he's trying to knock you out. And it's not a bad style to have, but where the lightweight division is at right now, a lot of guys are using a lot more defensive strategies to end up hurting people. And I think his style is just tailor made to get knocked out. I'm just going to keep it real. I don't think William Zapata is as good as he says he is. I think the issue with him is that he doesn't use his height and reach to the level of where he needs to be. and he doesn't use his punch placement like he should. And I think that's what's going to cost him when somebody that has high ring IQ and catches those mistakes that he ends up doing to potentially knock him out. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see where Zepeda is, because if he actually does end up becoming a world championship level fighter, it will be good. But the problem is like at how much longer will he be able to keep up his style? Because I don't see his style really scaling high as a world titleist. I think the issue is like he's like one of those come forward fighter Mexicans where you tell him one thing where he needs to start fixing up his defense and he has to do this, he has to do that, but he's not gonna do it because it's like, it's been working for him for such a long time, and he acts like his power is just gonna save him whenever he's losing a boxing match. And I don't think that's what's going to favor him any much longer because, like, Zepeda is all offense. He has no defense. So what's going to end up saving Zepeda is that he's going to have to start throwing punches and punches. That's going to end up smothering his shots, and I think that's just going to cause him to get stopped. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see where he's at because Zepeda, he doesn't really have really any much more time left in his career of where he could be at lightweight because it looks like he's actually struggling, to make the weight. But I don't know. You know what? We'll find out because if he is able to make lightweight, which I think he should just move up to 140. That's my whole take on it because he is a big guy and he has a lot of great athletic, ability at 140, and I think his body will take the shots perfectly fine. But I just don't know about 135. I think 135 is too unpredictable to see where he's at. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. He had a very great performance, and he did his thing, man. Like I'm proud of Zepeda. I actually thought he was going to lose to JoJo, simply because JoJo he carries up the more tougher experience, and even though that this is his third loss that he's had so far, it's not like he's a bad fighter. It's just that JoJo he needs to make those adjustments where he can't leave it to the judges and at least like dominate the fight and actually display more technical boxing ability where you can end up winning your fights. So I think Jojo Diaz, he can easily get back into the top 10 or top 15 discussion. But as far as world championship level fighting, he needs to make more better adjustments if he wants to see himself in there being a world champion once again. Which I think Jojo, he's a very very good fighter, very destructive southpaw. Not the greatest puncher of all southpaws, but he's a very technical southpaw that doesn't understand where he's at right now as a southpaw. I think he's still on that path of continuing to keep getting better. But it's good that he's being matched up tough. You go from Devin Haney to a dangerous, undefeated, come forward puncher and William Zepeda. I think these are great losses to have on your record because you're not going backwards, you're going forward. So I think Zepeda, if he wasn't focused on this fight or he didn't come in discipline, I think we would have seen a Jojo Diaz victory already. But knowing that he wasn't able to get the job done, I think Zepeda was able to manage it out because um, Jojo he wasn't able to figure out Zepeda's style, and even though that Jojo he struggled against other southpaws in the past, i.e., like a Shavakasan Rakimov fight, the Rakimov guy gave him problems. Gary Russell gave him problems. Javier Fortuna was like a little bit of a test, but I think the Gary Russell, the Tevin Farmer, like all these southpaws that he's been in there with, like Jojo's very comfortable going up against southpaws, and it's clearly shown that he has a very good plethora of tough matchmaking, and I think this is a good like this is at the right path of where Jojo needs to be. It's not like he's out of his prime. He has a lot of years left in him, and people don't realize that because they're like, "Oh no, JoJo, he's done, man." No, he's not done. He has a great, promising career, And the fact that he's in these wars with guys that people say that he should be blown out by, it's like he's not letting these guys knock him out. Like, the Rakima fight, he should have won that fight, but if he actually was not coming in overweight and he actually had like a right mindset to beat him, he actually would have won, that fight. Same thing with the Zapata fight, but with the Devin Haney fight, he just wasn't able to get to have the success with Devin because Devin was able to suppress what JoJo was good at as a southpaw. Even though that JoJo he did not use the right technical abilities as a southpaw to beat Devin, but still he actually presented some puzzle difficulties that Devin wasn't able to get past. Where he came in with his left and he started tagging Devin with a very destructive jab to the body, but he should have brought that pressure up more to the body instead of trying to headhunt with Devin. That's what made Devin comfortable to trade on the inside with JoJo, but he was still getting clipped with that left hook that JoJo was throwing. But if he was more successful landing those punches to the body to give Devin's arms tired, I think Devin would have definitely been dropped or he would have been hurt to say the least. Where JoJo, he would have given Devin a lot more tougher things to figure out in the ring because Devin he tends to have these like minor setbacks when he fights southpaws where he doesn't come in discipline defensively and he keeps getting hit with the same shot consistently over and over. But whenever it's against orthodox fighter, he's on fire because Devin he's comfortable fighting orthodox fighters. But whenever a southpaw meets an orthodox fighter, it's very rare in the sport, i.e., when southpaws meet other southpaws, they're not supposed to meet each other. Like a lot of southpaws are supposed to end up fighting orthodox fighters and maybe fight another southpaw if it is necessary. But either way, that's why southpaws they're either a very dangerous style matchup to be matched against an orthodox fighter, or it's a very close matchup with another southpaw where you don't know where the outcome will be because southpaws have a high level of understanding of what they're good at and what they're not good at. But if you know that you have one southpaw that's not as good as the other southpaw, then it's a very bad style matchup because of the other southpaw is going to come in there and dominate the other southpaw. Same thing with the orthodox fighter. If they're able to beat a southpaw that's not really, really good yet as a southpaw, of course you should go in there and beat up that southpaw. But that's why orthodox fighters they need to get the southpaw experience because if they don't get that experience, they're going to get cooked. And that's why when they say in boxing, if you're going to fight a southpaw, at least get like a little tune-up before you fight a southpaw. So fight an orthodox guy and then fight a southpaw. Get your southpaw sparring in, and then you'll be ready for the southpaw matchup. But nothing's guaranteed in boxing when you do fight a southpaw. All right, but either way, good victory. Let's move forward with the Jake Paul card, and then we'll switch over to the Lomachenko card. Um, Jake Paul. Man, I'm not gonna talk about the main event, but I'll talk about the co-main, and then we'll talk about some other undercard fights. I already talked about Shadeja. I'll talk about Jeremiah Milton. He had a very, very great knockout victory against Quentin Sumter. Um, this was a very, very great fight simply because Milton, he looks like he's getting better from his victories. This was another good undefeated fighter that he had defeated. Not too sure about all the other opponents. He hasn't really fought like the best opposition, but this is a good fight. This is I think his first undefeated guy that he's now dethroned from his undefeated record. Actually, no, he defeated a 2-0 guy, and then yeah, this guy. So this is the second undefeated fighter that he had now defeated. Officially 7-0, 28 years old, 6'4", with the 80-inch arm reach. He has very, very great vitals as a heavyweight orthodox fighter. They call him Dreamland. He's out of that good old Tulsa, Oklahoma, i.e., Black America of the Black Wall Street. Um, yeah, man. He's a good fighter, but here's my issue with him. It's a level of opposition right now, and I think where he's at right now with Quinton, it's a good victory. Don't get it twisted, but we need to see him in there with a guy like Sonny Kanto. I think he would knock him out. I think Sonny would he could very well knock out Jeremiah, but I think he should go after him. I think he should knock on his door, take out his record. Honestly, I'm like this may be a little bit crazy, but I'm down to see Jeremiah Milton versus Jared Big Baby Anderson. Why not? Jared Anderson's only a couple wins higher than him. He's 12-0, about to be 13-0 against some nobody that I haven't heard of. But it's like, why can't Jeremiah Milton be put into that mix? Because you mean to tell me Big Baby Anderson, he's able to find all these Eurobum fighters that I've never heard of before? But it's like, why not give the black brother like Jeremiah Milton his opportunity? Oh well, he's he's going up against like another black brother, but we already know who this guy is. He's going up against Jerry Forrest, but still, it's like Jerry Forrest, like he's a tough test. Don't get it twisted, but this is not helping him grow as a fighter. Jerry Forrest, this is like a guy that, granted he's fought great opposition. He barely lost against Jermaine Franklin, which that's a very difficult fight to call because I don't like I had no clue who really won that fight, but it didn't look like he had any means to be successful in that fight. But then on top of that, he got KO'd by Gerald Washington in 2 rounds. He lost to Michael Hunter in a clear 8 round unanimous decision loss, and then on top of that, you lose to Carlos Takam, and then you have a draw with Michael Hunter and Zhilei Zhang. So you mean to tell me out of these two damn fights, like out of all these high marquee victory or high key, like like seriously, this guy is basically a black version of who's that one journeyman in boxing? Well, I'm not like I don't know, like I could use Gabe Rosado, but it's like, if you want to put him next to Christian Hammer, he's basically black version of Christian Hammer. He's a decent fighter, but he does not have the best resume because he should have beat all these guys. He should have wiped out Kubrat Pulev. He should have beat up Michael Hunter. I think Michael Hunter was a much tougher fight than for what it had to be because Michael Hunter, he definitely did not come into that fight. How should I say? Respectfully, educated, and I think that's why Michael Hunter looked really crappy in his fight against Jerry Forrest. And I mean, if you guys go take a look at that fight, that's what made that fight look really difficult to score. But Zhilei Zhang, he should have been stopped. He barely won that fight. I don't know how he was able to force a draw. I think it was just due to the fact that from round 1, 2, and 3, you lost 3 rounds. But then, also Zhang, he also lost a point for holding in round 9. But Zhang, he got knocked down. I remember Zhang, he got knocked down in one of the rounds. It was like a 10-8 round. Yeah, Zhang definitely had a 10-8 round. I forgot what. Yeah, it was round 9. It was round 9. I remember. Round 9 was a knockdown. So, I don't know, man. I think Zhang could have definitely lost this fight, but Jerry Forrest did not look like the guy that he should have had any business of actually winning that fight. He should have arguably lost that fight. But that's just my whole take on that. I don't know where he goes from there, but I don't know who he's gonna fight next because he just lost to Kubrat Pulev. That was on that Triller card, but I don't know what he does with his career. But either way, Jared Forrest is a decent fighter. But if he does get stopped by Jared Big Baby Anderson, don't be surprised, man. Because I think Big Baby Anderson, he's gonna just run right through him like a fucking full fledged train, and I think that's what's gonna end up happening. Um, you know what? I might be pushing it for Jeremiah, but I wouldn't mind seeing the fight between him and Andrew Tabiti, because even though Tabiti he's new in the heavyweight division, go after him, beat him up, or go after Michael Coffey. You know, he could definitely knock him out. James Evans, that's a good fight. Maybe Steven Torres. I would probably hold that fight off until he gets more wins under his belt. I know Steven Torres could give him a very difficult fight, but go after him. Steven Torres is, he's a good fighter, but even though he hasn't stayed active as he should be, he definitely should be back on the winning stage very soon, because he's been out the ring since January, and it's going to be almost a year heading into that January draw with James Evans, which he looked very good in his last fight against Giovanni Bronzone. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're gonna have to wait and see. But Lanier Pero, that's a good fight for Jeremiah Milton. Go after him. Guido Villanello, I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I heard well, I think Stefan Big Shot Shaw told me that they're gonna try to line him up against Guido. So it's gonna be interesting to see where Guido is at, because he fought back in October, back in Italy, as of recently on October 28th. So I guess we're gonna wait and find out, because even though he is signed with Top Rank, it's not like he can't get other fights. So I would just say go get a fight, in between, just to stay busy, because you are your own boss controlling your career. But it's not like you have to be exclusive to like fighting on Top Rank. Like, if you want to stay in the ring and just get busy and get money, I think you should just keep on staying active, because that's not the problem with heavyweights. A lot of heavyweights don't want to stay active. So if they don't stay active, then they're going to end up waiting on the contract that's going to be quote unquote marketable for them, for the promotional company that they're with. But it's like that's not going to help them. Like you got to keep yourself active in between the weight. So that's just like my whole take on that. But yeah, Jeremiah Milton, he looked amazing. Quentin Sumter, he's not that good. I think he's trash. But yeah, good victory. We'll keep moving forward. I was actually surprised that Uriah Hall defeated Le'Veon Bell, but that was a good fight. He beat the living crap out of him. Same thing with Chris Avila, whipping on Dr. Mike, Mikhail Varshavsky. That was a very funny fight while it lasted. But then you had Danny Barrios. He knocked out Edgar Ortiz. I was shocked. I was thinking Edgar Ortiz might knock him out, but nah, Ortiz, he's a young, hungry guy, and Danny whipped him. That was a very very good fight, but good victory, man. He's 11-0, and that man's a problem at what at 122. Um, but yeah, let's talk about the co-main event, and then I'm going to be out of here. Oh, also shout out to Alejandro Santiago. He got his victory over Antonio Nieves. Nieves, I wasn't too surprised. He looked like he wasn't really wanting any more punishment, but his corner stopped it. Kind of felt weird, but either way, decent fight. The same thing with Ashton Self. For those that don't know him, he's a very, very good fighter. Um, he's a fighter out of the California region. Had a very, very good fight against Braulio Rodriguez. He knocked him out in one round. Just dropped him with like a good ass counter right hook to the face. And yeah, man, he's just like a flashy Sugar Ray Leonard with like a very smooth, um, you know, Ronald Winky Wright type of style. Very good fighter. Definitely watch out for him. He has a lot of power, and he's a very very deadly fighter, man. I don't think a lot of people want to be inside of the ring with him. But once his name pops up, don't be telling me that no Keyshawn Davis can't fight him, because I think Keyshawn Davis would get knocked the hell out by him, and I think he would knock out. I think he might knock out Floyd Schofield. I think Floyd Schofield will meet his match with him one of these days, and I think he'll beat up on Abdullah Mason, Miguel Contreras. He will beat the living fuck out of him. There's just so many opposition that he has right in front of him. Just wanting to say that, oh yeah, man, I'll knock this guy out. Nah, man. Ashton Silva is 18 years old and he's just getting started. And I cannot wait until he gets back inside the ring because it's like he should have been back in the ring back in like August on that canceled Jake Paul bullshit card that should have been continued with the Hasim Rahman situation. But hey, man, October, that's fine. But I think where we're going to see Ashton, he's probably going to be back and let the ring very soon. I think he should be put on, other PBC cards. I'm definitely down for it. I think that should be like the next step for him. So that's just how I see it. Like, I just think that, when we see him in his career, I just think that, it just makes sense, I mean, that's just me though, but like, I don't know. I think where everything is at right now, he's in a good spot in his career, and I think Jake Paul's doing a very, very good job moving him because even though it's not the fights that he wants, but he's definitely on the right path, similar to what Ryan Garcia is doing. But he's in control of his career. But it's not like he has to be headlining with Jake Paul because it's like Jake Paul is going to be back and let the ring like every what at least like I probably say well he doesn't have to be doing much in the ring, but I probably say he'll be back and let the ring within like 4 to 6 months. But I don't think Ashton needs to wait up on him. I think Ashton needs to just keep staying active because he's a young kid. So I would just say if I was in his shoes, just keep on fighting. He has a very great career. He has a great team behind him. So just keep getting fights just to stay active. But he's on the greatest track of his career right now. You are heavily promoted. You're getting money, and your team is backing you. So if I'm in your shoes, just keep on winning. That's all. Keep getting fights and just keep staying active. That's all. But yeah, that's it with that card. I'm going to talk about the Lomachenko card. Then I'll get up out of here, guys. But yeah, let's talk about the Vasily Lomachenko card. I'm going to talk about the rookie fights that were on the card. Um, Haven Brady Jr. versus Eric Mondragon. I was kind of surprised that this fight actually went the distance. I thought Haven was gonna actually put up a good fight to stop him, but either way, you know, his opponent was very very tough. So it's not like he was a bum. He came into the fight very hungry, but I think what was the problem with this opponent was that he wasn't using his height over Haven. I thought he looked to be like a more taller fighter, but Haven he was able to get his rhythm going, but he just got outclassed in certain exchanges because he was overextending his punches that made him look very unsuccessful in certain trades. So I wasn't too surprised with that. I think Haven looked really, really shaky, and he looked like the type of guy where he should have taken his time. And even though he was with like a new trainer with Bozy Ennis, that's Jerron Ennis's father. That's going to take time. So I don't blame Haven. I think Haven he understands where he needs to be with his career. So I don't know why Haven would decide to switch trainers. I think his original trainer was perfectly fine, but yeah, I guess we'll find out in the next fight to see if he's gonna actually scale harder with Jerron Ennis's father. I don't think it was necessary, just simply due to the fact that there's plenty of great coaches down where he's at in Georgia. But for him to reach out to Jerron Ennis's father and Bozy Ennis, I think that's a good move. We just have to see more progression. That's all. Abdullah Mason versus Angel Barrera. I thought this fight should have been stopped sooner when Mason was able to drop him. He has a lot of power, but I think we have to start questioning his opponents. Now, top rank is finding these young guys that are undefeated, but it's like, what are they doing in these undefeated battles that they have that are, or like what are their undefeated records show as a fighter that makes them look valuable to say like, oh yeah, this guy can beat Abdullah Mason, or he could put up a way better challenge, compared to his last fight. And I think the thing is that Abdullah, he's being matched up with opposition that we already know that's not gonna put up a really you know competitive chance with him. But it's not like these opponents are garbage. It's just that when you look at their level of opposition that they're facing, they're facing mediocre competition. Abdullah, he's a good fighter. Don't get it twisted. I think a lot of people are putting a little bit too much high stakes on him, but I think we're gonna find out as he gets older. He should have been dropped. He should have been counted for like a knockdown when he got dropped by Angel Barrera. So that's something that I was a little bit, upset on. I think Angel Barrera should have dropped him, or he should have gotten the knockdown. So um, now it's making me think: does he have a good chin? And that might be something that we have to watch out for, because if he doesn't have a good chin, then it's definitely not going to be a good career for him. But he's young, and I think it was just like a flash knockdown. So, we're gonna find out, as time goes by. But good victory. Keep moving on. Troy Isley versus Quincy Lavale. This is a very good performance by Troy Isley. I thought he did a lot better compared to his last fight. Well, obviously, in his last fight, I believe he stopped Dante Stubbs. No, yeah, he had his last fight with Victor Tony. But still, good performance, good job, keep on growing. Quincy definitely came to fight, and he definitely gave Troy a lot of problems that I thought that should have been, you know, a little bit more in Quincy's favor to win the rounds. But yeah, I think Quincy, he's still game in the middleweight division. He's not a bum. He's a good ass fighter, and he's incredibly young to keep racking up more wins. And I think his career is going to scale. But yeah, moving forward, we had Tiger Johnson against Esteban Garcia. Tiger Johnson, he's okay. I mean, Delonte looked very good in his last fight against Harry Gigliotti, but I think the issue with that fight was that Harry, he doesn't possess any power in his punches, or he'd never possess any defensive IQ in his fights to make him competitive in the fight with Delonte. So Delonte was able to stop him simply due to the fact that Harry was hittable to the point where he wasn't being defensively responsible. So that was the only reason why Delonte was able to do what he was supposed to do. So i.e. styles make fights. But good performance. I want to see Delonte back in the ring soon so we could see more vaster improvements in his performance. Now with this next fight with Nico Ali Walsh, I wasn't so surprised with this fight. Billy Wagner should have been knocked the hell out, but Nico, he almost got dropped in this fight. And Billy, credit to Billy, he definitely has a puncher's chance to hurt somebody in any fight, but he's just not at any level to be like good yet. Because it's like if he was good, he definitely would be up there, but he just hasn't really put himself in good position to be good. He obviously got stopped by Javier Martinez, and then he lost to Alexis Espino, and then I forgot the other guy that he lost to. Oh yeah. It was now Nico Ali Walsh. So he's 5-3. I mean, if he was good, he actually would be 8-0 like right now, because he has a great punch. He knows how to knock somebody out. He has deadly power, but it's just like it's just how he sets up with the power. If he was able to set up his power shots with proper ring IQ and proper punch placement, he would be rolling through, everybody, but it's just not the case because it's like, fighters that come in with limited experience that don't think in their fights to be successful, that's what's going to cost him in his fights to be unsuccessful. But he did have success against Nico, and I'm definitely proud of fighters like that have good success. But I think where he's at right now, he just needs like a better training regimen to have him be a bigger threat for what he is. He's 29 years old. You got plenty of good years ahead of you, and I don't know where he's going to be within due time, but I'd like to see him back. Billy Wagner, he's either there to get stopped or he's there to put on a good show where he could potentially stop you. So he definitely has a puncher's chance to change a fight. But if you added in boxing fundamentals, I'm pretty sure the boxing gods would definitely make this guy a much bigger threat. But he's definitely on the high horse of just keeping his skill set to keep getting better. But yeah, let's move forward without the rest of these fights, and then I'm going to end it. Um, Duke Reagan versus Luis LeBron. Uh, man, oh, I actually thought Luis LeBron he gave this fight up really, really bad. Just simply because he wasn't coming into this fight thinking Duke Reagan wasn't going to throw something heavy back at him, and LeBron had multiple opportunities to stop Reagan, but I think he just didn't press on the gas well enough because whenever he was hurting him, he just kind of threw a flurry of punches, but he wasn't being serious in the attempt to actually hurt him and try to stop him. So that was something that I was a little bit concerned about. And just the fact that he just plants his feet down to try to like load up on a shot on Reagan, where that was predictable for Reagan to like figure that out. But yeah, man, I think LeBron he blew that opportunity to get the victory. So I don't know what he was planning on doing. I think it was just in the moment that he was already hurt, so he wasn't able to think as good as he wanted to. But if he did, he definitely would have hurt, you know, Reagan to the point where he could have stopped him. Reagan, I don't think he has any power. Um, I think his power is non-existent. Yeah, he's at that level in his career where he's just not he's not putting himself in a proper position to be successful, and that's just something where we can't see anything good out of him because it's just where he's scaling as a fighter. But that's pretty much how I see it with him. Um, he lacks power, but he knows how to box very well. It's just that when you don't have power to keep somebody off of you, and they're able to ram their pressure onto you, where you end up falling to the pressure, then I think that's where Reagan's going to lose in his fights in the future because he doesn't have the power to keep somebody off of him that has a lot more size and a lot more destructive pressure themselves to break a guy like Reagan. So that's just how I see it. I think Reagan has a lot of climbing to do. But on top of that, I think that's what Top Rank's doing. They're just keeping it slow with him, but they're not giving him easy touches. They're giving him heavy loaded opposition that's ready to get the call to try to knock him out. So I respect that. 126 is loaded, so he doesn't need to rush it. He just needs to keep on getting better. That's all. So yeah. Uh, as far as the other fights that had went on with Richard Torres and that other guy, I forgot his name. Oh yeah, his name was Ahmad Hefni. Richard Torres just beat the living crap out of him. It was a good fight. Don't get it twisted, but that Hefney guy shouldn't have been in the ring with Richie. I think Richie clearly shows to the heavyweight division that he's able to stop everybody he's been in there with, if not, almost everybody. So, Richie got power, but I don't think his power scales at the high level. I think when you have somebody that boxes with him, I think he loses really bad. So that's pretty much how I see it. Torres has a good punch. He has a puncher's chance to hurt somebody, but I just don't see his career scaling to the level of which I can respect. So I think we just need to see more progression. That's all. But yeah, Torres did a decent job. I mean, not the greatest performance compared to his last fight, but that's just pretty much how I see it. Yeah. Uh, let's let's move on with what the main event or the co-main event. We had Robeisy Ramirez versus Juan or Jose Matias, Romero. But either way, I thought Robeisy did a good job. He stopped him. He made this guy quit mentally and physically. So he did a very, very good job. And the knockdown definitely was very interesting. And yeah, man, that that's it for Robeisy. I think he's next in line to get the title for the WBO because Alvarez decided to vacate it, or he is about to vacate it for the WBA 130-pound title. So I don't know, man. I think that's where people understand where things are going, and um, I think where either fighter is right now. There's just too much discrepancy of like where fighters want to move their careers. But either way, congratulations to both of them, and can't wait for more. Let's talk about the heavyweight division. Um, the heavyweight division is not that smart, and having some people that talk down, with you, for the sake of actually being, um, uh, like, actually being mean with somebody that, that can't really give you the solution, but they give you the solution. Yeah, I don't even know, but yeah. So yeah, sorry about that. Like I just had like a little bit of a brain fart, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Credit to Robeisy Ramirez. He had a good fight, and yeah, hopefully we get to see more of them, and he can get with the title shot opportunity sooner than later. But yeah, let's move on with the last fight, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. We have Vasil Lomachenko against Jermaine Ortiz. I thought Ortiz won this fight. I didn't think Lomachenko really won, that many rounds to get the victory. But Jermaine Ortiz definitely looked to be the more sharper fighter. He looked to have more pop in his punches to actually push Lomachenko back. And Lomachenko, he got obliterated to the point where he just wasn't able to figure out Jermaine properly. Yeah, in the late game, he was able to hurt him, but I think that was just simply due to the fact that in the late game, he was only able to hurt him for the sake of keeping Jermaine at bay. But then once it came to a point where he wasn't able to hurt, Jermaine anymore, I think that's where Jermaine was in cruise control, and he did what he had to do to be successful. So either way, credit to Jermaine. Keep your head up. I think Jermaine has a lot of scaling left in the tank, and I'd like to see him back in the ring sooner than later. I think 140 is going to be his next shining move. I think 140 he could beat a lot of those guys up there. His toughest test will definitely be guys like Gary Antoine Russell, Subriel Matias, Regis Prograis, um, and I don't know, like I guess Jose Ramirez, but I don't see those guys ever facing him. I think he could beat Barbosa. He could beat Sandor Martin. He could definitely beat Teofimo's ass. That'll be an easy fight. And Alberto Coelho, I think that'll be a tough fight. So that's gonna be very interesting to see where he's at in his next fight. So definitely need to see where he's gonna be in the next future of his fight. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Sorry that I dozed off for a bit. I was getting like a little bit tired psychologically. So all right, guys, I'll see you guys later. Be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Do what you got to do, and I will see you guys later. Thank you guys for keeping in touch in the background. So yeah, I will see you guys later, and yeah, peace out. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.